Hello, World of Tank Blitzers. It's Littlefinger doing a full tank review on the Jackson, which you can see here in the garage. This is a Tier 6 American tank destroyer. It is a much more heavy tank than the Hellcat, and it is a lot slower. It does have a fully rotational turret, and the reason I'm doing this review so close on the heels of the Hellcat review is that I had a lot of people tell me that they preferred the Jackson over the Hellcat, and I played quite a few battles in this tank, and I'm going to have to disagree. Hellcat is still my favorite. Part of the reason here is, and I'll pull up the tech tree, and you go from the T40 to the Wolverine to the Jackson, close to the bottom here. And all of those have rotational turrets, which is all, to me, it makes playing tank destroyers much easier. Then you get up to the T25 AT, and I really enjoyed this tank, played pretty well in it. Seemed like the grind was very easy to get to the T28. Once you get to the T28, just like the AT, this tank is so slow, you can't get in position during battles to be really effective in it, and so it's very team dependent, and you can struggle very difficultly with the T28. Now you can see here I haven't even made it up to the T95. Obviously this is a tough tank to face on the battlefield, but I kind of feel that the grind is not worth it for these tanks, which is why I'm going to stick with my recommendation to go the Hellcat, play the T30 with its fully rotational turret, and then the E4 with its partially. In my opinion, much better tanks all the way around. But if we look at the way I've got this set up, obviously with a TD, running my heroic warrior, camouflage. I've got consumables here of repair kits, multi-purpose, and adrenaline. Provisions, running the top three here: improved fuel, protective kit, and case of cola. And then you can see here, not even a full loadout. I got 24 rounds of AP, 12 rounds of APCR, 8 HE. And don't forget, you can, of course, buy premium ammunition with credits just by clicking on that shell price button. Now, with this being a Tier 6 TD, and certainly not one of the top TDs in my opinion, definitely don't recommend spending spare parts on it. So right now I'm running a gun rammer to increase that rate of fire. You'll see here in a second as a TD. We do have very good penetration numbers, so calibrated shells is kind of wasted in my opinion on this tank. So let's go ahead and get that 0.7 rounds per minute added to this tank. Improved modules. As a big heavy tank, you're obviously not worried about any damage from ramming, so I'm running the defense system. And with this being a TD, you get the 7% increase in your visibility there, or decrease in your visibility, and then that's doubled when stationary. So that comes in real handy in these TDs, much more important than the improved optics, which would get your view range up to 252, which isn't exactly great at this tier either. So again, wouldn't spend any spare parts, but just quickly go through these in case you do decide to do that. Would go with the enhanced gun lane drive, getting that aim time down to 3.4 seconds. Since we do have some decent armor on this tank, I would go ahead and get the 4% increase. It's kind of negligible. 55 additional hit points. I could see an argument either way on that. As a lot of the weakness in the hull and turret are from your sides and back on this tank. So I can probably just talk myself into improved assembly there. Improved control, I would go with the engine accelerator and just get that horsepower up. The vertical stabilizer over refined gun, And then I'm indifferent to toolbox versus enhanced tracks, and then it depends on what you're running in your consumables as to whether you go delivery system or high-end consumables. Alright, so here we are on blitzstars.com using their tank compare section. Got the M36 Jackson on the left. I did leave out the Hellcat in this comparison table just because all of the gun and weapon handling numbers are the same. Main difference is obviously the maneuverability and the armor. But anyway, we've got the ARL V39, the Jagdpanzer, the Nashorn, the AT8, and the SU-100. And you can see here coming in at a damage per minute of 2225. We are right in the middle. As I've said before, the Jagdpanzer is off the scale. But when you take that one out, we are right in line with the rest of these tanks. Penetration numbers very good at 160. Especially for tier 6, and we are doing 225 damage per shot. Rate of fire there, 9.9 rounds per minute, and this is a 90 millimeter gun. Shell velocity of 853. Aim time here, 1.54 seconds is really good. One of the best guns. You can see some of these other ones, especially like the SU-100, it is a very long, painful aim time. Dispersion is in the middle here, and one of the nice things about this tank and the Hellcat is you've got 10 degrees of negative gun depression and obviously a fully rotational turret, whereas some of these others go 7 to 15 degrees. So much easier to keep this tank stationary and maintain that camouflage. The downside to the Jackson here is when we get to movement and mobility. You can see our speed limit is only 42 kilometers per hour, and it does take a little while to get up to that top speed, as our effective horsepower per ton is only 14.6. And this is a very sluggish, it feels slow, it moves slow. So that's my major downside to this tank. I felt like I was in the trying to get a little bit too close in the middle of some of these games, and I just couldn't turn and rotate the turret fast enough to be effective. Just scrolling through some of these other things here, like the hull armor, 114 on the front, but only 25 on the side. So, we got 76 on the turret and only 25 on the sides as well. So, want to keep this face forward to your opponents, get on some hills, and use that gun depression. Win rate's right in line with the rest of these other tanks. Our average damage is pretty high up there. And average kills is just below 1. So keep that in mind when you're playing this tank, and we'll see how it plays in-game. Alright, first game here in the Jackson on Mirage as bottom tier. Call is right. They've got some heavies. I like to push up into the middle here, and you can see here we're up to 40 kilometers per hour. We get into this bush, and we're just going to sit and see if we can't find any spots. No one's coming this way, so I'm assuming that they're pushing waterfalls. So just going to come around, use this ridge here to get a shot in on the T-150, and you can see 230 damage per shot there, 220 on that one, and we've taken out one of their better tanks. Just barely missed that shot on the T-20. They're all over this hill here to get a shot into him. So now we're looking for a weak spot. A lot of tanks on the left side, you can see there. So gonna go ahead and push to the right, as that, in my opinion, right now is the weaker side. This is a Nash horn, so I'm gonna go ahead and load HE. And unfortunately, I hit right near the gun, and you're not going to get a full roll there. But 295 on that one. And now this SU is kind of blocking my path. Step in front of that shot from the VK. It probably wasn't even meant for me, but Nash horn's fired, and so we can just shoot that pretty much anywhere and finish him off. Back over to AP. And now we have circle back around. Switch over to HE for the back of an American tank. And you can see that sets him on fire for well over 300 in damage. So, and I'll admit that I am not the greatest player when it comes to knowing when to shoot HE and when not to. But as we're now in Tier 6, it's really time to start having a better understanding of when to use what ammunition. So 1772, two kills. Obviously we were top damage on the team even as bottom tier there. Alright guys, here's another game on Dynasty Pearl as bottom tier. Depending upon the makeup of the teams, this is one of those maps I like to push in kind of close to the middle. There are some nice ridge lines that you can get hull down kind of in here, and perhaps do some spotting as they come through their spawn, and offers you the ability to back down behind that wall to safety. And so we're just being cautious at that point in time. I'm watching my teams pushing around the edge, and I know it's safe for me to push more into the middle, which I'm doing here. So at this point in time, we know they have gone the opposite direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep pushing around, and note how I avoid the cap area. I don't really want to give away my position just yet, and so they've gotten 3 or 4 guys here come around, and we'll get a shot in on the J Panther there. Hoping to get him as he's driving away, but it looks like he's turned around, and we missed that shot and kind of just get him in the tracks. Now got a VK coming through here, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to use the steps and my nice gun depression, and basically just getting hull down right here. You can see that guy's not using his armor very effectively. He's just pulling out sideways. He needs to point to the front building and kind of just side scrape off of that. Makes himself a much more difficult target to hit. So I'm looking, I see that KV-1S was aimed right at me. And so I backed down the hill, gave him the impression that I was moving on somewhere else, wait for him to look away, and I can get my shot in. And now I'm just waiting on a reload, looking at the map, and I see that they've got 2 on the left with a 3rd to join. Obviously that Panther there was the weak link. Take him out. And I've heard a shot, think it's the KV-1S. I see the smoke from the gun, and I know it's safe to peek around the corner and take a shot. So, you know, these are all kind of map awareness things that really don't matter what tank you're driving in. I wait for him to just shoot the other guy and get 1 shot in, drop adrenaline. I know I can get 2 shots in, but he's finished off by the tank behind me. So, you know, while this was just a reasonably good game for me in this tank, we'll get a nice little, well, I thought he was going to bounce that, but we bounced the shot because we hit it into the man. But we get the kill in before Dracula can come in. But You know, as I was pointing out, just the map awareness there and getting yourself into good defensive positions that allow you to also get shots in and be offensive. You can see 1768 damage, 2 kills as bottom tier. 10 shots. Alright guys, one more game is bottom tier Yamato Harbor Supremacy game. And tuned up with Dirty Derp here. And so we're all going to push left. And I tell you what, this was quite a frustrating game for this gun. You know, if you do rush just a hair too much, it is what can happen. So I can't stress enough making sure you're very patient with the aim time on this gun. But I'm going to try to work my way into the middle here. I was hoping that a couple of these guys might come across. And we bounce our first shot there. We've almost got this M48 out, and sure enough, we get our first kill here. So I was planning on using the hill here with my nice gun depression, and we'll get a shot on the other M4, and he's coming up the hill. Nice sloped armor, and of course we bounce that one. Get one more shot in, but basically at this point in time we're just trading shots, and you don't want to get into that situation. A little bit more frustration there. He gets killed before I can get my shot in, so I'm thinking, alright, I got a kill shot on this KV2, duff it straight into the dirt. Luckily his HE round only does 170 damage, so gonna be patient and finish him off there. We are up quite comfortably at this point in time, 3 tanks, but the frustration will continue as we shoot that one into the dirt on the Jagdpanzer. That one bounces. Getting a little crowded over here. Go ahead and let these guys go and take the damage. We get another bounce. I was hoping I could go ahead and finish that Panther off, but there's one shot there, and the SU, he's just shot, so turret's too slow, can't get a shot in time. Just working on staying alive at this point in time. Looks like we're going to have a shot here on the Type 58. And we're a second too late. Missed the kill shot there. So duff that one into the ground on the SU. Do get a track shot in there. And finally finish him off for kill number 3. But might put that one down into argument why this isn't my most favorite TD. We did do 1,530 damage, but we missed a significant amount of shots there. And we bounced quite a few too. Alright, Oasis Palm, this time as top tier. You can see we've got 3 mediums to my right and another TD and 2 heavies to my left. So no clear indication which way we're going to go. Obviously the mediums are rushing off to the right and my heavies are going into the buildings. I see that one of the mediums goes into the canal there, so I'm going to go ahead and move on up into the buildings. So now there's only 2 of our mediums over there to 4 of their tanks, and that's what happens if you pull up too far without the support of your team. Not sure how that didn't go in. We've got nothing but light medium tanks over there, so So kind of disappointing that we weren't even able to capitalize on our guy getting those spots in. So now they're coming around, and this is part of my problem here, is I should have gotten turned and side scraping off of this rock a little bit better, but it got pretty crowded. You can see how many shots I'm taking. So yeah, we lost quite a few hit points there. So I'm going to drop on down into the valley where we can use our nice gun depression, and we can come up this hill and we can show just a very little amount of our tank. I pick the lowest health target and take a kill shot, get a gun out of the game, and we will repeat that several times. And kind of strange how these guys just completely ignored me, but as you can see, I am presenting a very small target. Basically just have my gun sticking out over the hill, and these guys, and that's a crazy shot there. Backwards on the run. I don't know what to say about that. But anyway, you can see here that we got tanks all over the place. By now I should be off the radar and I shouldn't be spotted. So we're going to be what a nice TD with some good camouflage, and we're going to get some good damage in. Finish off the T-14. And we've managed to claw our way back to a one tank advantage. So, 2 tanks. There's the last tank there. And we'll get kill number 4. So obviously this guy's alive. He's got 2 kills. He's not AFK, so we got to go find him. And I'm just going to drive down the dry riverbed here. At this point, I'm not worried about capping. I am going to be a little bit cautious because well, with a T-37, be pretty close to a one-shot. And there he gets proximity spotted. We're just going to angle off of this building here, hoping for a lucky shot between the rocks there. And someone gets the first shot on him. I'm being really cautious here. Maybe a little bit too cautious at this point in time. And then we spot him and get kill number 5. So we managed to get out of danger there. We were in a really bad spot. Get down and dish out a lot of damage. 2282 total for the game and 5 kills. Alright, last game I'm going to show. This one is as top tier. And really do like pushing the middle here. As it allows some very good spotting opportunities and a lot of flexibility to relocate or push weak sides. So you can see our team has pushed heavy and gotten spots out here. And that is not how you play a Leo. So you get some nice bounces there, but take one from the right side. Certainly have some weaker armor here. Unfortunate that one goes into the dirt, which, as I mentioned in the game previous there, that if you don't let this fully aim, you are in trouble. We took a lot of shots from that Leo, and we're just trying to hold this high point here and dish out damage, but things are kind of closing in around us. Take a big shot there. And now we only have 194 hit points left. It was a shame that I didn't get that shot off. But we got guys just sitting in cap, and you know how that usually works. 3 of them down there. Wow. Sometimes you're just blessed with a team that's not that great. We finally put that T-37 away, but it cost me a shot on the M4. And now I'm just hoping to get a lucky bounce, but no such luck. And old T-67 is the last one standing. And oh yeah, he's gonna pull out in front of 3 tanks, and he's gonna completely miss all 3 of them. Needless to say, not gonna last long. And that's the way this game goes. You know, you can't win them all. You can put a good game in like this and do over 2,000 damage, and your Leo does 22. So, as far as overall the way this tank plays, I don't think this is a tank that's as easy to carry tier 6 at by itself, just because of its lack of mobility. Had one game where the team was unable to reset cap. The timer just got to 100 when our T20 got into the circle, you know, and it's just things like that. Without the mobility and the flexibility to rotate this turret as fast as the Hellcat, I am going to say that I definitely prefer the Hellcat. So hopefully you guys got a few tips out of this full tank review on the Jackson. And as always, stay safe out there. Get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.